Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. And today's video I'll be cutting a short gown, an off-shoulder short gown with asymmetric flare. You can call it a flounce flare. It will have a slant flare by the down part of it. So I'll be cutting with this fabric. And on this style there are two ways of sewing it. It's either you attach the flare, reducing the length of the skirt, and then you attach the flare, or you slant the down part then attach the flare also. It depends on the choice, the way you want to do your own. So for this one I'll be slanting the down part before attaching the flounce. So I'll proceed by cutting the down part first. So the gown length is 39 plus 39 first, then I'll minus 16 inches. 16 inches is the half length. So 39 minus 16, I'll have 23. Then I'll be adding 2 inches. 2 inches, 1 inch for sewing allowance and 1 inch for hemming allowance. That will give me 25 inches. So I'll fold this fabric with the biggest measurement, which is the hip. And the hip is 44 divided by 4 will give me 11. Then I'll be adding my sewing allowance. So after folding the fabric, I will now mark out my 25 inches. After marking my 25 inches, I'll now mark the hip line. From the waist to the hip line is 9 inches. Then the waist measurement is 34. Divided by 4 will give me 34 divided by 2 will give me 17. Divided by 4 will give me 8.5. 8.5, I'll be adding 2 inch for sewing allowance, which will be 10.5. Then 1 inch for that. That will give me 11.5. And the hip is 44 divided by 4 will give me 11 plus 2 inches sewing allowance. That will give me 13 inches. Since the down part is 13 inches, I will minus 1 inch and mark 12 inches. Since the hip, is 13 inches, I will minus 1 inch and mark 12 inches to the down part. So this is it for the skirt. Now I'll mark my dart. That is 4 by 6. The width is 4 inches, the length is 6 inches. So after that, I'll mark half inch to the both sides from the waist. Then I'll connect it down to the 6 inches that are marked to the length. So this will serve as my dart. That's where I will insert my dart. So now I'll cut it out using it to trace out the back, adding my zipper allowance. So now I'll fold the fabric again. I've placed the one already cut, the front, using it to trace out the back, adding my 1.5 zipper allowance. You can add 2 inches or you can make use of 1 inch. It is a choice. So as for me, I'm using 1.5 inch. After cutting it out, I will now cut the zipper allowance open. So this is it for the front and the back of the down part. Now I'll be cutting out the upper part, the half length. So I fold my fabric into 2. So now, since the half length I'm cutting is an off shoulder, remember I always lost my off shoulder by 5 inches. So here will be my starting line. So the half length is 16 plus 1 inch sewing allowance, that is 17. So I'll place my 5 on the line and mark out the 17 inches. After marking out the 17 inches, the nipples to nipples measurement is 8 inches plus 1 inch sewing allowance, that is 9. 9 divided by 2 will give me 4.5. I'll mark 4.5 till the down. Then I'll connect the lines. After marking that, then I will insert the bust point and the under bust line. The bust point is 10 inches while the under bust is 13 inches. So after this, I will now mark 1 inch to the both sides from the under bust. I'll mark 1 inch to the both sides. Then to the shoulder line, I'll mark 1 inch to the both sides as well. After marking that, I'll connect the line. I'll connect this 1 inch from the shoulder down to the bust point. I'll do the same to the other side. Then I'll also connect the line from under bust down to bust point. So after that, I'll now mark the shoulder line. The shoulder measurement is 16 divided by 2 will give me 8 inches. 8 inches, then I'll be adding these 2 inches which are on my lost hair. It will be 10 inches plus 1 inch sewing allowance. That will give me 11 inches. Then to mark the bust line, I'll place my 5 on the line and mark 8.5. 8.5. Then from there, I'll carve the armhole. I'll bring my 11 inches down to the bust line. From there, I'll carve the armhole. Then I will insert the waist measurement, which is 34 divided by 4 is 8.5. 8.5. Then I'll be adding these 2 inches that I will cut out from there. It will give me 11 and 10.5 plus 2 inches sewing allowance. That will give me 12.5. So I'll connect the line. So there is it for the front. Now I will cut it out. After cutting it out, I'll now cut out the back. So now I'll cut it. I'll stop at the under bust, then I'll follow the curve line. I'll also do the same to the other side. So now I'll notch the under bust. I'll also notch here too. So this is it for the front. Now I'll move to cutting of the back. So now, to mark the back, here will be my starting line. I'll place my tape there and mark 17 inches. After that, I'll mark 1.5 inch for zipper allowance. After that, I will insert the shoulder line, 16 divided by 2, which is 8 inches. Then after marking that, I will insert the bust line. I'll place my tape. I'll place 5 on the line. I'll place my tape, the 5 on the line, then I'll mark 8.5. Then after marking 8.5, the bust measurement is 38 divided by 4 will give me 9.5 plus 2 inches sewing allowance, which will be 11.5. So I'll mark the shoulder line to the bust line, then I'll connect. To connect the armhole, I'll come in by 1 inch. Then I'll connect the armhole. After that, I'll insert the waistline. The waist is 34 by 4 is 8.5 plus 2 inches sewing allowance, 10.5 plus 1 inch for that. That will give me 11.5. I'll connect the lines. Then the neckline, I'll come down by 2 inch. So from the 2 inches, I'll connect it from the shoulder line down to the 2 inches. So this is what I have for the back. I'll cut it out. I'll cut the zipper allowance open. This is for the back. Then to cut the florins, the side florins, all I have to do now is I'll bring the front, the down part. This is the down part, the front down part. So I told you there are two methods of cutting it. So on this one I'll be using slanting method. I'll be using slanting method on this one. So now that I've opened the skirt, the next thing to do now is to mark where the florins will be. This one will be at the right side. So since this is the wrong side of the dress, I will turn it to the right side of the dress. This is the right side of the dress. So all I have to do is I'll mark 5 inches from here. 5 inches. I will slant it down to this side. From that 5 inches, I will slant it down to here. But this slanting will be for the both sides, both the front and the back. But I'm kind of using the front to show you how I'll slant it. So since I've marked 5, I am not satisfied with the length. I'll come up by 7 inches. So from that 7 inches, I'll slant it down to this side. So I'll be cutting this out. After cutting it out, then I'll cut a flare that has a length of 8 inches, so that after turning it up with lining, I'll have 7 inches left. So when I sew that flare of florins of 7 inches length, I'll now join it both to the front and to the back. So now I'll be cutting out the flare. But before I cut out the flare, I have to measure what I have here. What I have from here to here, like this way. I'll put my tape and measure what I have here. I have 27. And 27, remember I added 2 inches for sewing allowance. So 2 inches to the right, 2 inches to the left, which is 4 inches. And my last 4 inches from 27, I will have 23 left. So the front will be 23, the back will be 23, which together will give me 46. So I'll be cutting the flare with 46. So the measurement of the flare will be 46, while the length will be 8 inches. So now I folded the fabric into 8. Look at it. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'll be cutting this flare by 16. 8. After cutting this one, I will cut out another one of the same. So 8 plus 8 will give me 16. So I will divide 46 by 16. So whatever it gives me is what I will use. 46 divided by 16 will give me 2.875, which is more than 2.5. So I need to mark out something. I need to trace it. This is a hand method. I will be marking 1.5 inch to know if it will be able to give me 2.5. So after marking 1.5 inch, I measure it, and yeah, it's give me more than 2.5, and that is okay because what I have here is more than 2.5. So from that line I'll mark 8 all round. Eight inches all round. You can use your normal reduce method, but this is the way I normally cut my flare. So I've marked the 8 inches and I'll cut it out using this one to trace out another one. So that is it. I'll now cut out another flare. So now I'm cutting out another flare. So I'll cut one side of the flare open. So this is the flare. So the flare will now be in 4 pieces. I hope you can see the flare. That's the flare I'll be using on it. So I'll be cutting out the sleeve now. So now to cut out the sleeve length is the sleeve length is 8 inches. Then I'll be adding extra 2 inches for folding allowance. That will give me 10 inches. Sorry I didn't show you. I fold the fabric into 4 because I'm cutting the both sleeves together. So I'll cut out the 10 inches. So the round sleeve of the person I'm working with is 16. 16 divided by 2 will give me 8. I'll mark my 8. Then I'll be adding 2 inches sewing allowance. That will be 10. So after marking the 10 inch, I'll come up here and mark. This is an off shoulder sleeve, so I'll mark 4 inches After marking 4 inches, from here I'll mark 4.5. From 4.5 I will curve it down to this 4 inches. Then after that I'll come down by 1/2 inch. I'll connect the 1/2 inch to this line. So from here I'll come in by sorry, I'll come in by 1 inch. I'll slant it from here down to the 1 inch. So this is what I have for the sleeve. I'll cut this side. So this is for the sleeve. So guys, thanks for watching my video. I really thank you guys. Please subscribe if you have not subscribed. Subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a new video, so that you can be able to see all my new updates. Alright, thank you guys. See you on my next video, and I will also be posting a video on how I sew this. It's very important. I'll be posting it together with the cotton. Thank you guys.